She was 8 months pregnant and only wanted to sit down for her anniversary lunch. Instead, a hostess turned her away, forcing her to wait outside in the heat, unaware that the woman's husband was the owner of the restaurant. What followed wasn't just a confrontation. It sparked a movement for dignity, inclusion, and hospitality rooted in humanity. This powerful true story shows how one moment of quiet cruelty became a catalyst for company-wide change and a new standard for what it means to truly welcome people. On a sun-baked afternoon in the heart of Napa Valley, Maya Martin stood quietly outside one of the region's most exclusive restaurants. Her hand rested on the curve of her belly, 8 months pregnant, high risk, and doing her best to remain composed as beads of sweat slipped down her temple. She had arrived 15 minutes early for a special lunch date. It was her anniversary. She and her husband Jason were supposed to celebrate 5 years of love and the soon-to-arrive heartbeat of a little girl they'd already named Hope. But instead of a chilled glass of water or a smile of welcome, Maya was met with cold indifference. The hostess, immaculately dressed in sleek black with a platinum name tag, stood behind a marble podium. She scanned the reservation list like it was sacred scripture, and then looked back at Maya without warmth. "Name?" she asked. "Jason Martin," Maya said, adjusting her purse on her shoulder. "He made the reservation. I'm here a bit early." The hostess barely looked up. "I don't see a reservation under that name. I'm sure it's there." "He confirmed it earlier this week. We're fully booked," the hostess replied curtly. "Unfortunately, we cannot accommodate walk-ins today. You're welcome to wait outside until your party arrives." Maya paused, unsure how to respond. "I don't mind waiting inside. It's very hot out. And I'm—" Her voice trailed off. The hostess's gaze drifted to Maya's stomach. A flicker of judgment passed across her face. Not compassion, not concern, just calculation. "I understand," the hostess said, tone now vaguely condescending. "But our policy is to allow only confirmed guests inside the lobby area. We're maintaining a standard of service." "Standard." Maya didn't argue. She stepped outside into the dry, unrelenting heat. She leaned against the stone wall, inhaled deeply, and fought the rising tightness in her chest. She wasn't the type to cause a scene, but in that moment, she had never felt more dismissed. The subtle humiliation, the polite cruelty, it weighed more than the baby she carried. Inside the restaurant, the air was cool. Water was served with citrus slices. Waiters moved silently in choreographed precision. Nobody knew that just steps away, the owner's wife was standing in the sun, unwanted and unseen. Jason arrived minutes later, parking his car with a smile, holding a small wrapped box in one hand and a single white rose in the other. But when he walked inside and didn't find Maya, his smile vanished. "I'm here for a reservation," he said. "Jason Martin." The hostess looked up. This time, everything changed. She straightened. Her expression flickered between shock and confusion. "Of course. I believe your guest is outside." Jason's brow furrowed. Outside. In this heat, he moved fast. When he reached Maya, she looked up, eyes wide and glossy. "They wouldn't let me in," she said quietly. "Said I wasn't on the list." Jason didn't speak. Not yet. He turned, opened the restaurant doors, and guided Maya through the lobby. Hand on her back. The hostess stepped forward, but Jason stopped her with a glance. "I'm the owner of this restaurant," he said, "and my wife, who is carrying our child, was made to wait outside like she didn't belong." The hostess's mouth opened slightly. No words came out. Jason turned to the restaurant manager, who had rushed over. "This isn't a mistake," Jason said. "This is a culture issue, an attitude problem. A failure of basic decency. Fixing it starts today. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. The room had gone still. Later that evening, Maya sat with her feet up on the porch of their vineyard home, cradling a glass of lemonade. Jason was inside on a conference call with his corporate team. She could hear the edge in his voice, firm but clear. No one was being fired. Not yet. But things were about to change. Within days, Jason launched a full investigation into how his restaurants treated every guest. Not just high-profile clients or Instagram influencers, but people who looked like Maya, who came with bellies swollen and bodies tired, who weren't rich, loud, or easily recognized. He hired independent diversity and inclusion experts, not for show, for truth. Every employee, from valet to executive chef, was required to complete empathy-based training. Staff were taught how to recognize unconscious bias. Policies were rewritten. Standards were redefined, not for exclusivity, but for warmth, authenticity, and welcome. Maya, shaken but not silenced, became more than just the woman in the doorway. She began speaking publicly at prenatal clinics, women's health groups, community centers about the quiet ways society can push people out, how politeness can be weaponized, how respect isn't something you earn with status. It's something every person deserves. Her words resonated. Women reached out. So did restaurant owners. One chain in San Diego invited her to consult. Another in Portland flew her in for a panel. What started as a painful lunch became a movement, the Welcome Table Project, a nonprofit led by Maya and funded by Jason, dedicated to transforming hospitality culture across the country. A few months later, their daughter was born. A healthy, wrinkled, red-faced miracle they named Hope. Hope. Who would grow up hearing about the day her parents turned shame into action? Hope, whose name was now printed at the bottom of every new guest policy in Jason's restaurant group. This space is for everyone. No one waits outside. The restaurant where it happened, it didn't just recover, it thrived. Not from a PR stunt, but because word got out. People felt the change. Regulars returned with new respect. Employees walked taller. One server told Jason, for the first time, "I feel like we're serving more than food. We're serving a message." Not every story ends in reform. Not every injustice is met with a quiet revolution. But sometimes, all it takes is one person standing too long in the sun. One moment of mistreatment witnessed by the right pair of eyes. Sometimes, all it takes is a reservation that someone forgot, but that no one will ever forget. And in that forgotten moment, a new chapter begins. One that doesn't ask if you belong. One that says, you already do.